Trepacer's first contest of 2015 is coming soon. It's coming soon. Stay tuned. The contest is coming soon. Stay tuned. It's coming soon. I'm so excited for it. It's coming soon.
Hi, this is Trepacer. Welcome to Trepacer's Saturday Reviews, episode 96, I believe, and I have two movies that I watched today and reviewed. I'm going to start with this one first. Put that down. Okay, and I'm talking about 2013's Nebraska, actually was directed by Alexander Payne, who did Sideways and the George Clooney movie, which I can't remember, where his wife was cheating on him and she went to a coma. I forgot that. And Alexander Payne, he's a good director. Anyway, it was written by Bob Nelson. I don't know if this is the Bob Nelson. It's part of Bob and Ray. It might have been. I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but it's written by Bob Nelson actually, and it stars Bruce Dern, Will Forte, June Squibb, and Bob Oder. What's his name? Bob Odenkirk. Okay, and it's about a guy named Woody Grant, played by Bruce Dern. As the movie opens, you see him walking down the road, a pace on, at least on the highway, on the soldier side of the highway. He's walking. You see, he's walking a long distance, and then a cop pulls up and tries to inquire where he's going. He says he's walking to Nebraska. Okay, and then next thing you see is his son, David Grant, coming to get him, and the cop, and he tells his pop, said, "Listen, the cops found you. You said you were walking to Nebraska?" He said, "Yeah, I'm going to Nebraska to get my $1 million." He said, $1 million? What are you talking about? He said, "My $1 million," and he shows him the letter from the publishing house. It says if you could be one, you could have, said, "Woody Grant, you have won $1 million if you buy a certain amount of magazines and you have the matching number." Okay, so he's not technically, he's just entered into the contest if he buys a certain amount of magazines. Okay, but of course, his father, Woody Grant is he's an older guy and he has a little bit of dementia, and he has a bit of an alcoholic problem. So his son David takes him back to his house with his mom Kate, played by June Squibb, and of course June Squibb, who plays his wife Kate. She's complaining to her son, said, "Listen, he does never listen to me no more. All you keep talking about $1 million. I'm fed up with him." She's basically says she's fed up with the dad, and the son David, played by Will Forte, tries to calm his mother down and said, "Listen, I got him back in the house. Don't worry about it. Let him go." So he goes back on with his life, and David Grant works in audio visuals, an electronics store selling audio visual equipment, and he gets another call. Okay, this time again, his father again is walking on the side of the road, and he takes his father back, and he listen to that, and he says basically, "Listen, Dad, you got to stop doing this. You got to stop. He tries to reason with his father, and listen, he tries to explain to his father that you haven't won $1 million, but his father is not having it, not listening to it. And then of course his brother comes by, his older brother comes by, Ross, played by Bob Odenkirk, and they kind of have a little bit of an argument about the dad, maybe it's time to consider putting dad in the home, okay, because he's too far gone. But David doesn't really want to do that, and he decides to take his father on a trip to Nebraska. To actually, he takes a few days off work. Said, "Listen, I'll just take my dad. I'll take Dad to Nebraska and let him see that he hasn't really won, and this time I can spend time with him, and and this will satisfy his and before he completely goes all senile, I can spend some time with him." Okay, and this movie is filmed in black and white, and this movie is funny, it's poignant, and it's fantastic. Because on the way to Nebraska with his dad, he absolutely stops by his dad's family, to visit his dad's family, and visit with his aunts and his uncles and stuff. And the movie has such dry wit to it. Okay, like, and Bruce Dern is just incredible. He doesn't speak much. Okay, but he basically the dad, the son David, he finds out through the travel when he was his father that how his father was basically a good guy and just kind of went along with the flow of things and didn't raise too much of a fuss. He gets to know his father's family, and it's a funny movie. It's just it has this dry wit, and like I said, he gets to know his father, and he gets to meet his father's friends and discover all these people that basically his father's family, and there's a lot of great performances in this movie. Bruce Dern is incredible. June Squibb, who plays Kate, she has some of the best lines in this movie, and pay special attention to a graveyard scene because on the way to Nebraska, when they stopped by the Pops' Bruce Dern's family's house, they stay there with David's uncle family, and the mother comes down on the bus, and they go visit the graveyard where some of Bruce Dern's, Woody Grant's relatives are buried, and the mother just kills that scene when she goes off on his relatives, and she goes off on saying, pointing out to the son, where all the different people are buried to, and she describes them in great detail, and the scene is hysterical, and it's just funny. All these people in town or in the town that he grew up with think that he's come into $1 million, and they even run into an old friend played by Stacy Keach. He plays Ed Program, a partner that Bruce Dern used to have, and he even tries to get in on the act, saying that he was kind to the father when he was younger, and the father owes him money, and David, Will Forte's character, he's trying to explain to people that, listen, my father hasn't really won any $1 million. I'm just humoring him and taking him but after a while he just gives up on trying to explain it, and it's just a fun movie, and for people with fathers and stuff, people with relatives, older relatives and stuff, and they'll know it by seeing this movie, stuff you have to go to with older relatives and stuff when they started getting too old and they can't remember things, and it's mostly about that father and son relationship, them getting to know each other as they, like I said, but Bruce Dern's character, he doesn't talk that much, but he's a simple man and it's just a fun movie to watch. You gotta watch this movie. This is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time, and I can see why I got nominated for Best Picture and Best Actor and Best Directing and Best Supporting Actors too, because this movie is hysterical, and I definitely would recommend this movie. I'm going to give Nebraska an 8.5. I really, really enjoyed this movie. It just really, it's poignant and it's funny. And like I said, that mother character, June Squibb, who plays the mother, Kate Grant, she is hysterical. Anything that comes out of her mouth is just hysterical. Okay, just funny. And Will Forte, I know him from Saturday Night Live. He's good as the son David Grant. He's kind of laid back in this. He's not, and even Bob Odenkirk right there, he's laid back too. He plays the older brother who's like a TV anchor. Okay, and there's a great scene of them, the two brothers together. Let's put it this way: them going into a barn, taking something that supposedly belongs to the father, and that scene alone too is funny too as well. There's a lot of, and again, it's filmed in black and white, which gladly it helps along with the story. It helps tells us it's part of the story of the movie, and it's just a fantastic movie. And again, I can't highly recommend this enough. Nebraska, 8.5. I'm so glad I got this movie. It's hysterical and totally worth getting. 8.5 for Nebraska. Now, this next movie that I got is a film noir type of classic. It came out in 1946. Now, I saw this movie on TV a long time ago. I didn't see the beginning part of it. I came in sort of like the middle part of it, and I didn't remember how it ended. But I just got through watching it a little while ago. And this is called The Strange Love of Martha Ivers. Okay, stars Barbara Stanwyck, Van Eflin, Elizabeth Scott, and Kirk Douglas in his film debut. Okay, this is the first film that's starring, Kirk Douglas. Okay, and I read a little bit of the backstory. They said that he was recommended for this by Lauren Bacall, who they knew from acting school. She recommended him for the job, and he got hired. And it's about a this story is about three childhood friends. Barbara Stanwyck's character, Martha Ivers, Ben Eflin's character, who is Sam Masterson, and Kirk Douglas' character, Walter O'Neill. And the movie basically opens up with Martha Ivers as a young, I guess, teenage girl, young teen. She's running away with Sam Masterson, and of course they get caught and brought back to the house. Sam gets away, Martha gets brought back to the house, and you can tell she can't stand her aunt, Mrs. Ivers, who's basically, she's her guardian because her mother has passed on, and her father, I think both of her parents have passed on, and her father came from the wrong side of the tracks, and she doesn't consider herself an Ivers. She considers herself a Smith, because that was her father's name. But her aunt is basically telling her, listen, this is how it's going to be. You're going to grow up the right way, living in this house. No matter how many times you try to run away, you run away. You're going to live by the rules, and you're going to, go to school and do all the things I want you to do. But of course, Martha's headstrong. She doesn't want to do that. She just wants to be free of her aunt and free of the whole house and everything. But again, like I said, she gets brought back, and then also at the same time, you have a young Walter O'Neill, him and specifically his father, who is the tutor of Martha Ivers. He's kind of basically he's trying to basically trying to get in the good graces of the aunt, and trying to push his son. He figures if he does the aunt a good turn, she'll help his son get into Harvard and stuff. So at the same time, Sam Masterson comes back to the house, and the lights go out in the house, and they're actually coming down. She's actually getting ready to run away again when the aunt is coming up the steps. She actually catches, and she actually sees a cat on the steps that Martha snuck in the house, and she basically starts beating it with a cane. And Martha comes down and grabs the cane from her aunt and basically whacks her over the head, and basically she falls down the steps and dies. Sam rushes out of the house before that happens and leaves. And Walter, of course, is there to witness this, Martha basically killing her aunt. And then, of course, the father comes in later, Walter's father, and he sees what's going on, and Martha kind of explains that, there was some man that came in the house and attacked my aunt and pushed her down the steps, and I picked up the cane, and so he basically, you can tell that he doesn't really believe that, but he goes along with it because it's basically to the advantage of his son. Okay, that basically what happens is, the cops buy the story of somebody coming in and breaking in and killing, pushing her down the steps, and then of course they flash forward to years later, where Martha is grown up and she's married to Walter. Okay, and basically the story begins with Sam Masterson. He actually is passing through the old town they used to live in. He's passing through, but of course he gets into a car accident by not paying attention to the road, and he has to get his car fixed. Okay, and on the way, while he's waiting, he meets Elizabeth Scott's character, who plays Toni Marachek. She's a girl that's basically supposed to be leaving town, and they kind of strike up a friendship, and she sort of hangs out with him, and basically the story is basically about Sam, Walter, and Martha think that maybe Sam is come back because they think he was there that night when Martha killed her aunt, that he's there maybe to blackmail them, that he's there to try to get some money off of them now that they're successful. Walter's the DA, he's running for re-election, and they think he's going to be the governor someday. And Martha she runs the factory that she inherited from her aunt, and they have all this money. And they think, of course, that specifically Walter thinks that, I think more at first in the original, that Sam's there just basically to blackmail them because he was there that night, and they think he knows that Martha really killed her aunt. And actually, they pinned the blame on a criminal years later, and that criminal was executed. So they have reason to fear that Sam is there to blackmail them, when at first that's not what he's there for. Okay, and this is sort of a classic film noir, with, Sam's a tough guy, a gambler, he's a war veteran. Okay, like I said, he strikes up that friendship with Elizabeth Scott, who's basically, she's on parole and getting out of town, sort of a down on her luck chick that he kind of strikes up a friendship with. And of course, Tony is instantly smitten with Sam because she can tell he's a good guy and she wants to be with him. Okay, but at the same time, you see Martha, when she finds out that Sam is back in town, of course she's immediately drawn to him because they, like I said, they were childhood sweethearts, and she was in love with him. Okay, but except for the circumstances of her aunt's dying and stuff, she would have ran off with Sam and been free. But now, as it is, she has all the power and all the money, and she sees her chance to maybe get out from being tied to Walter. And Walter, at the same time, is weak because he's basically a drunk, and he basically hates the fact that they basically framed an innocent man for a murder that Martha committed. So he's basically torn up. And this movie is classic 1940 film noir. Okay, and tough guys, tough dames, and great performances. And this is Kirk Douglas's first role, and he's absolutely fantastic because he's the only one that's really he's conflicted because, like I said, at the same time he loves Martha, but at the same time he hates the fact that they basically framed an innocent man, who basically got hung for a crime that they that Martha committed. Okay, and he really loves Martha, so of course, he doesn't say anything. He goes along with it, but of course it's eating him alive. But Martha is played by Barbara Stanwyck. She doesn't particularly care. All she wants is the power and the money, and so she doesn't care. She doesn't really care about, and she basically belittles Walter, saying basically, or she's trying to prop him up, basically, because he knows he's weak, and but she doesn't care. And like I said, but she sees her chance when Sam comes back into town because, like I said, he's a tough, strong guy. He was a tough, strong guy as a kid, and he's a tough, strong guy as a grown-up. And of course, she sees her chance to maybe, get out from under this marriage with Walter, and maybe, to be with Sam. And it's you get great performances by the whole cast: Barbara Stanwyck, Van Eflin, Elizabeth Scott too. She's real sympathetic as this not only chick Tony Marichek, who kind of meets Sam and becomes smitten with him and kind of wants to get out from under this her circumstances. And you got Kirk Douglas, who's sympathetic. He's this guy he has his power as a district attorney, but like I say, he's an alcoholic because he's torn up about this crime that they've basically been complicit in, and all he ever really wanted, is to love Martha, who's basically, like I said, in love with Sam. And it's it's a really good movie, and the ending was something I didn't see coming. Okay, but it's a really good movie, and definitely I love old black and white movies, and this is like a classic to me. And I'm gonna give The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Okay, I really enjoyed it. It's classic Hollywood. Okay, great performances. Barbara Stanwyck sort of reminds me of Double Indemnity a little bit, in the fact that her portrayal is just a tough broad, and just it takes no gumption from anybody. Okay, and it's good, totally worth watching. The Strange Love of Martha Ivers. Okay, 8 out of 10. And of course, again, Nebraska. I can't say more than so many good things about Nebraska. Just great performances by the cast. This is a great movie in general. I love that it's filmed in black and white. Great performance by Bruce Dern. June Squab, who plays the mother, she's hilarious. She steals every scene she's in. Will Forte and Bob Odenkirk as the sons are great. And it's just, like I said, it's great. It's about a son trying to get close to his father and get to know him a little bit, before he leaves Earth, basically. And he goes along with his, The Descendants. That's what I'm talking about, Alexander Payne. The Descendants and Sideways. That was a movie with George Clooney I was trying to remember. Again, 8.5, totally worth watching. One of the best movies I've seen. Okay, totally worth it. Okay, Nebraska, get this movie. Trust me, you will enjoy it. It's filmed in black and white, and it's fantastic. It adds to the whole atmosphere, and you just have to see this movie. It's amazing. I absolutely love this movie. Okay, so those are the two films I watched. Let me know what you think of them. Feel free to leave comments down below. This is Trepacer saying so long, and take care.